One industry enjoying boom times is that of video conferencing. Wallace Alvear reports on why the technology of sending and receiving moving pictures remains challenging and why it offers promise for the future.
In a place where electronic wonders abound, a marriage of sight to the drama of sound.
The AT&T picture phone introduced at the 1964 World's Fair was the fulfillment of the promise of the information age. A telephone that provided not only two-way audio, but also a video image of the person speaking on the other end. Unfortunately, the picture phone proved far too expensive to be practical, and the concept of communicating visually over the phone faded into obscurity, until recently.
Bonjour from Paris, can you hear me?
Video conferencing in the U.S. is a booming industry, estimated to exceed $1 billion per year by 1995. Rapidly declining hardware and transmission costs are fueling the growth, as are the realities of business in the ever-shrinking global marketplace.
When there is a technical problem at another site, rather than 3 or 4 of our people having to get on an airplane and lose the time to get to the site to be helpful, we can simply get them all in this room and place a telephone call. So our response time is much better, and of course our travel costs are a little bit lower.
The Electric Power Research Institute of Palo Alto, California is the research and development arm of the utility industry, with over 800 scientists spread throughout the country. They have relied on video conferencing for nearly a year to enhance company productivity.
We will have 5 or 6 of our experts at one end talking to 5 or 6 experts at another end. And what this allows them to do is to work as if they were all in the same conference room. We have integrated equipment, peripheral equipment, document cameras, slide projectors, computers, and so they can work just as if they were giving a technical seminar and they all were present in the same room.
Video conferencing in the last decade has generally been through satellite broadcast of standard television signals, far too expensive for all but the largest business users. The recent expansion of the market to less costly means of transmission has been made possible by advances in digital video compression. Analog video takes up an enormous amount of transmission pipeline or bandwidth, 90 million bits or megabits of information per second. Until recently, it has been neither feasible nor economical to send it over land-based phone lines. Simply put, video compression digitizes the video signal so that it can be squeezed through use of a sophisticated mathematical algorithm into a much smaller bandwidth. Within a given scene, only information that changes from frame to frame, such as facial movement, is resent to the next frame.
Where changes aren't occurring, I won't send any new information. And the effect here is that I can take a signal that consumed a lot of bandwidth, a lot of capacity, either in storage or in transmission, and then I can send many more signals, or I can just use up less resources, cost less money.
The device performing the compression is known as a codec, short for coder-decoder, a sort of digital processing box for the video information. A typical video conferencing system consists of a codec, a camera to capture the initial video images, microphones, and a touch-sensitive control pad that allows the user to control operation of the camera, as well as optional peripherals like slide projectors, VCRs, and PCs. The codec can compress information from all these sources and send it along with the video. Today's state-of-the-art codec requires a bandwidth of at least 112,000 bits or kilobits to produce the lowest quality full-motion video conferencing. With increases in bandwidth, the quality of the video image is higher, along with the cost of transmission. This makes the video conferencing application an important factor in which rate to choose.
If you have requirements where you have the CEO that is addressing the employees for whatever reason, a policy statement or something like that, well, perhaps you would want to add more bandwidth with a bandwidth on demand device, sort of step on the gas pedal, if you will, to provide something where he looks more human.
You can go at much lower rates and lower quality levels, and the cues you need can be picked up. However, it is an understanding that people are conditioned by what they've seen on their TV sets as to what they expect video to be.
2 U.S. companies, PictureTel of Peabody, Massachusetts, and Compression Labs Incorporated of San Jose, California, control between them nearly 90% of the U.S. market in video conferencing equipment. Compression Labs concentrates on the higher bandwidth portion of the market, with most of their codecs designed to operate at 384 kilobits per second or higher. These data rates require dedicated high bandwidth T1 lines, which must be contracted for in advance and paid for regardless of use. Near broadcast quality video is possible, however, on T1's bandwidth, the equivalent of 24 regular phone lines. And the proliferation of switch service networks for T1 and subsequent low prices is making the higher bandwidths a more attractive option.
You can, for a customer, provide 1/4 of a T1, which is 6 voice channels. 1/4 of 24, 6 would be 6 voice channels, which he uses those 6 voice channels as an access partition to do video on. The other 3/4 of the channel can be used for whatever the customer wants to use it for. Voice calls, data transmission, etc. So you can segment these pipes, if you will, into fractional bandwidths.
PictureTel has targeted the low bandwidth or dial-up end of the market, so-called because the video and audio imagery can be transmitted over standard digital phone lines available throughout the world.
We wanted to focus on the area where there was ubiquity in terms of transport. We believe that the future of video conferencing is in its ubiquity, availability to middle managers, white-collar productivity improvement, and it ought to be easily accessible. People ought to be able to dial it just like a telephone, and it shouldn't require special training, circuits, or any delays in getting the systems in.
With declining transmission costs, the price of a full-motion video conference is now less than that of some cellular phone calls. Market studies have shown, however, that increased affordability has customers demanding full-featured systems, a factor that CLI is banking on.
So you're talking 50 cents a minute difference in price for transmission, and we can deliver 6 times the picture quality, the video resolution, at 384 as at 112 kilobits. It's like offering a Cadillac for the same price as a Chevrolet.
CLI's development of the first programmable video signal processor chip, 35 times more powerful than existing chips, has spawned the Cameo Personal Video System, a $2,000 add-on for the Macintosh. At last year's Comdex show, PictureTel unveiled a prototype of a similar system for IBM PCs. Both units offer two-way interactive video and data transfer over dial-up phone lines. And what of the ultimate promise of video conferencing? That vision of the future from decades ago, the picture phone.
The idea of providing us with visual communications in our homes was always something for the future, until now.
The AT&T video phone, available in stores this spring, is a desktop phone with a 3-inch LCD screen and lens. It utilizes CLI's digital compression and a fast modem to transmit full-motion video over standard analog phone lines, the major difference from earlier versions. So with personal video conferencing on its way to the home, industry players and analysts seem to agree a wave of change is coming. Wallace SVR, Silicon Valley Report.